I'm originally from Belfast. I grew up in the height of the conflict. There wasn't too many sporting venues or football or anything at that particular time. I had a love for fighting on the street. So I ended up heading towards the boxing regime. There was a lot of clubs within the Belfast area, and you could have had your choice of any, depending on what area you were from. Mainly if you're from the Lower Falls, if you would have been in the Magalata. If you're from the Upper Falls, you would have been in St Agnes's or Albert Plunkett. I ended up in the Magalata boxing for Magalata, which was my first club. I trained there for about 2 years, and unfortunately the club closed down regarding the British forces wrecking it. Then I moved to a club a bit up the road from me. It was called Beachmount ABC. I went from Beachmount to on up the road a bit to Oliver Plunkett, and that was my last club that I boxed for. There wouldn't have been a great lot of money in our areas. Well, very few boxers came from wealthy areas. My first love when I saw Muhammad Ali fighting Fraser, I just says to myself, yep, I want to do that. That was my prime love. Once I seen Ali, that was it. That was me hooked on boxing. I thought I was just going to walk into a club and, yeah, I want to be like Ali, you know. It was horrendous, I have to say, like the training and the regime that you went through, you know, old school. It's a lot of fans now, but at that particular time, it was old school boxing. You didn't train then, or you didn't do what your coach told you here, out the door. That was you gone. You know, there was no type of taxing, there was no nothing. It was, cheerio son, try another sport. You know, and it was a hardness of it them days, you know. I came to Dundalk in 1991, which was a major culture shock to me, because I was from the city. I ended up in a town.
A mile of colour, karate and music, with the last of Dundalk's Christian brothers at its head. After 122 years in the town, they're pulling out of their Dundalk school. It was an afternoon when Dundalk put itself on show for itself, and 15,000 people turned out to watch.
There was no facilities here, none whatsoever. My wife came a year later. Then we got a house, we were allocated a house, a council house in Moor. It's one of the biggest estates in Ireland. The percentage, that was 70% unemployed. It's a disadvantaged area. When we went down the road of starting this club here, it was, you got every door closed to you, mainly because you were a northern person and you weren't really acceptable. It was tough work to even rent the place next door, which is the council sports centre. I fancy we got there and we got 2 nights, 2 hours, so it was 4 hours a week we were training next door. Now, any coach in the country will tell you 4 hours within a training regime for boxers is unacceptable. So myself and a number of local people, mainly from the north, set up the committees here. We get a boxing club and a community centre and a football club. It was mainly northern people that set the ball rolling. They're good organisers. We kept getting doors closed on us, left, right and centre, whether it was through politics or anything else. We were trying to take kids off the street, regardless what our politics was. We had a committee together to source funding for a facility. The actual facility that we had was nothing compared to this. It was only like a wee room that we were trying to build at the time. Now, it would have took us a million years to raise what we wanted. So, the luck of the gods, Kevin Main was engaged with a local developer here who was building the retail park, which is across the road there in the main bypass there. So when I showed him the facility, he says, how many is it for? And I says, between 100 and 150 kids. And he says, I'll get our architects to draw up a building for you. So about 2 weeks later, he got in contact with me and I went over. He had this blueprint of this place here and I was dumbfounded. I was shocked. Now, he was building this facility for us for nothing. It was unbelievable. Maintenance and the maintaining of this building is totally on voluntary basis. We'll maintain it ourselves. Ask my wife, she's a boxing widow, like, you know. It's a family. As the name Clann Naofa, and Escalga is Holy Family, right? So we are a family within this community here. Through time, we broke a lot of barriers down because they seen the work that we were doing within the area. You know, they didn't see us as the bad guys anymore.
Myself, my mother and my younger brother, we lived with Jim for a lot of my childhood, and growing up with Jim, obviously my grandfather and the box club coach here in Clann Naofa, you know, boxing was, you know, part of the household. It was always on television, whether it was amateur or professional fights. You know, Jim used to have different camps here. I remember him. He's obviously an Irish national coach too, and him training youth and junior teams here, and that included boxers like Michaela Walsh and Kelly Harrington. They've obviously went on to do great things in the sport. These people trained in our boxing club, and you know them, and you know they're performing at that level on a world stage. It's phenomenal. Like, growing up in Heavenmore, it was obviously deemed as a disadvantaged, unprivileged area. But you know, when we look at the facilities we have, and especially the one we're sitting in today, it doesn't take a genius to see that the facilities are world class and they're used on the regular. You know, if you're here any night midweek, you can see the cars outside and the people that come from near and far to make use of our facilities here in Heavenmore.
We get all kids in here. We get kids who've been bullied, for talk's sake, kids with certain disabilities, right? And they come in here for a bit of sport, a bit of comradeship, a bit of excitement, and boxing, obviously.
I was diagnosed with dyspraxia, I think I was 10 or so, and it's like a disorder, a coordination disorder, so it affects my balance and stuff. And the occupational therapist suggested that I did swimming or boxing, so I came here to Clann Naofa, and yeah, it sort of all kicked off from there. Yeah, I remember the first night I came in and we were skipping, sure I couldn't skip, like, and I was, you know, falling over myself and the whole works, but sure, I got there eventually, but like, you didn't feel like an outsider coming into the club. Like, it wasn't like it was, oh look, there's a new girl there. Like, Joe, it was very inclusive. So I didn't feel uncomfortable coming in at the start, which was good.
We have 5 coaches here at all different standards. You know, you have your junior coaches and you try and bring them on till senior level or elite level, should I say. And they have to go through different tests to get till elite level, right? And it's all voluntary. You can't be at this sport not unless you love it. You have to love the sport. And once you taste it or once you get involved in boxing, any coach in Ireland will tell you, right, it becomes your life.
Joined Clann Naofa Boxing Club in May 2021 and I got involved from Jim O'Neilly. Would have been very involved with the Gaelic team. I played with Sean O'Mahony's up at the Key, and you know, I had a keen interest in boxing, and I decided, you know, may as well start boxing. Mainly I'd see my strength, my cardiovascular health, all of that increasing greatly. Be able to endure more running, you know, sprints and all that. I'd be a lot better now than I was before I started. Well, with Gaelic, you know, you'd have 15 people on the pitch. Here in the boxing club, you have 2 people, yourself and your coach. He's in your corner helping you, teaching you, telling you what to do. And when you get in that ring, he's gone now, it's you on your own. It's what you train for. You need to put the effort in. You can't slack with boxing. You really need to put the effort in, the time. You know, it's all about motivation and getting into it. I remember the first night I came around here, I didn't have a skipping rope, and Jim told me just to dance to the rhythm of the song we were listening to. And you know, I went along with it. I made sure I didn't come without a skipping rope right after that.
And in boxing, you need to be a psychiatrist. You need to be a father figure. You need to be a coach. Right? You need to have knowledge of strength and conditioning, which is the weights and stuff and all the rest of it. It's a number of professional positions is wrapped up into one coach. In relation to the guards, you know, we have broke down immense barriers. You know, there's a guard diversion project within the area, and they refer different kids to us, you know, who's got a wee bit of a problem here, and I think coming into a regime like this would benefit them.
One of the days I was out with my friends and we were trespassing on an old school and we got caught by the guards, so they took me home. They said I had nothing better to be doing if I had any interests in it, so I just said yeah. On the first night I did cry because I knew no one. I couldn't understand Jim's accent and I was just like, I didn't know what to do. I felt out of place. I was just told to get a skipping rope, start skipping, follow everyone else, just follow everyone's lead and you'd get the hang of it. Like, it took me a week to get it. It was like really easy to follow and now you just feel really comfortable coming in and doing it. So like after I did join, like I knew no one and that's what like made me like really like insecure being here. But then like I came back the following week and Oisín was here and I went to school with him. I didn't knew him well, like, and I got really embarrassed because he was going to see me run and see how bad, like, unfit I was. But when he came, he didn't know how to skip, so we kind of just made fun of each other there. So, like, it helped a lot. And then, like, he talked to other people, got me talking to other people.
Academy is a place of learning, and it's at all levels. I mean, a kid can come in here from 8-year-old, and an adult can come in whatever age and learn. We only charge €2, and we've always only charged €2. But if a kid hasn't got it, we'll just say, come on in, son.
Yeah, like when you come in here, like I come in here on days I'm like so mad or angry or something bad happened in school or at home, and like it's like you train so much you just forget about it, and then like you're talking to everyone, you're having the laugh with the coaches, like you're so happy leaving, just everything bad just leaves your body. It's so good. My favourite part of the training is definitely the pads, because like you go quicker and you're told how many punches to do, what type of punch to do, but just the sound of like the punch hitting the pad, it's like really satisfying.
One, big one, big one, 2, 3, 3, 4,
You want to do it more, like it gives you more adrenaline, you pumped up.
4, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, come on, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. The Irish Boxing Association is a 32 county association. I could go up to the Shankill Road tonight and go to a club there and nothing will be said to me, and vice versa. A Shankill Road club or Sonny Road club could come down here and train. I am a member of the Irish team and I have trained kids from all religions. It's just purely boxing, and it doesn't matter. Like Lewis Crocker, who's now a professional, who's going for a title here. Lewis Crocker was in the team with me, and the first thing when we come back from Europeans, his father, from a unionist background, he gave me a big hug at the airport, which was unbelievable to me. Like it's brilliant for breaking down barriers. Like brilliant.
I was only in the club 3 months and I was put into competition, and I wouldn't have, well, obviously the coaches thought that I was fit for it, but like looking back at videos and stuff, I was nowhere near the standard that I should have been, but like that was obviously all down to dyspraxia or whatever. But the years go on, I obviously progressed, and the constant doing the same thing over and over again, it did help me, and now I think I'm decent enough now. I won the Leinsters in my first year of boxing, and then I won the Irish then the following year, and then in 2018 I went to the Europeans. Looking back now, like I was always a competitive child and always, wanted to be the best at everything. So it's no surprise that I stuck with the boxing, because that was just sort of the nature of me growing up. And I know I'd say some of it was probably due to the dyspraxia as well, but I always wanted to be the best at everything I did, and I think that competitive streak really does stand to me in boxing.
I hope to compete in championships, competitions, all that sorts, Originally when I started, I just wanted to get my strength and my fitness up. And once I got to that, then maybe we would talk about fighting. But I feel like my physical health is all greatly increased, and I'd be ready to get in the ring now. I have a lot more skill than I would have had beforehand. And gym in my corner, I think I have the eye to win,
Kind of drifted away from the boxing then as I was getting to my 11, 12, 13 age, and I was playing a lot of soccer in secondary school, and then I kind of had to go at the Gaelic football. Jim was a big Gaelic fan himself, but I stuck with the Gaelic, and I drifted in and out doing different sessions with Jim and the club throughout my teens then. And when I went to college, that there was a inter-varsity championships, and there was a junior novice category, and that suited me down to the ground. It was a great experience. It was great to actually get in the ring and perform for my college and for the club as well. You're representing the two, and it was great to actually win the competition and get my name up on the wall here in Clann Naofa. So it was a proud moment for myself and for the family too. So
the sense of the boxing is it's advanced the sport. The knowledge that I've gained within the sport, it's unbelievable, and I'm always learning, and you never stop learning, no matter what age you are. Any coach with the knowledge of science will be a better coach.
On a normal day, I'd train twice a day. In the morning, I'd go to the gym for around 6:30 and do strength and conditioning or do a run in the gym, and then head off to school, and then I'd be back in here then at 7 o'clock, and we'd just do our normal boxing session here. So but then coming up to competitions now, obviously training has intensified, so still do my strength and conditioning and stuff in the morning. But then when we're in here at night, it's a lot more high intense, it's a lot harder, and we're focusing more. But we train then every Saturday then with the Irish squad as well, coming up to Europeans. So we do 2 sessions up there on a Saturday, so it's good training. Like
some coaches would say boxing is an art. Other coaches would say boxing is based around discipline, which in my eyes it is, because once they come through the door, whatever regime that they had outside, they come in here and it's mainly about discipline. If you don't have the discipline, then they don't get the right mindset, and they have to have the right mindset to box, because it is built on discipline.
Boxing's different from other sports. I play Gaelic as well, but when I'm playing Gaelic, I'm on the pitch with 14 other girls, so and it's a big 400 metres odd, like the pitch, so it's different to boxing. You're in a wee square and you're confined to just you and the girl you're boxing, and I mean, like, she's out to thump the head of you and you're out to thump the head of her, so it's, you know, you can try and run, but there's not all that much places to go. The
coach does not get into the ring with you, so you have to do all your preparations before you get in the ring. Well, it's months, sometimes it's months leading up to the fight or a competition. As Ali says, the work is done behind the lights, in the gyms, on the roads, months before the fight. So once you get in that ring, your boxer has to be 1,000,000% focused on their opponent. And if they're not fit, if they haven't got all them components together, they're going to lose.
We're all mates here, we're like family here. The club's a family. Like, we don't go in with the aim to hurt each other. We learn from each other, and getting in the ring with Deárbhla, you know, like, we're both southpaws, we're both lefties, and, you know, we get in the ring and it's a lot more awkward. Like, it's harder to get that reach on or get in with the jab and get through. So often enough I'd switch my stance into orthodox. I'd be a lot faster throwing the jabs, and I'd throw her off a bit because I'd be swapping from my usual stance to another one to get in. You know, you take it a bit easier, not because she's a woman, no, I'm all for equality, like, but you know, she's a friend of mine, I wouldn't want to impose any injury on her.
Clann Naofa really is a family, and like, obviously you've Jim and Jerry and Richie and all the other coaches there, and they do anything for you, but the other boxers as well, like, you know, if I'm training for the Europeans, obviously, and you know, any of the other boxers in the club, if I ask them, you know, will you come down and train with me or blah blah, like, they come down in a heartbeat. Like, it really is just the community spirit and the family.
When I boxed, there was no such a thing as a girl boxing. When I started this club here, there was no such a thing as a girl boxing. You know, where now it's unbelievable. You've got the leading light, Katie Taylor, you know, and our leading light within here, you've got an elite champion here, which is Evelyn.
I've been boxing for Clann Naofa for about 10, 11 years now, and I'm the current elite champion. I started, there was a good few girls there, so I kind of felt like, oh, like, I do have a space in here. At the moment, I'm training towards the Worlds. I want to qualify for Paris 2024, and then after that, I'll see where it takes me, maybe pro.
You have Deárbhla, who's a youth champion, you know, and they're both girls, like, and both of them are representing their country, like, you know, it's unbelievable, like. It was a thing that I never imagined in my lifetime, that girls would have took up a sport, and it's getting bigger and bigger at the moment, and that's all down to Katie Taylor. Deárbhla, she's now in the Irish team, training to go to her third European Championships, which is next month. And as I say, she is one of the success stories of many that come through the doors of this club. She's the only female within County Louth to represent Ireland going to these Europeans. You have a kid coming out of this area, not only disability, I don't like that disability because I don't see her disability, you know. I see her as a champion of Ireland.
So I was 13 going to Europeans in 2018, obviously representing Ireland, and I got a silver medal there, so like, that was a huge achievement. It's like, that's a huge achievement for anyone, but especially with dyspraxia and stuff. And then the following year, then I went to Europeans again. They were in Romania, and I got bronze that year. But then there's like no internationals then from COVID then hit. So I'm going to Europeans now in 3 weeks. So hopefully I'll get the other medal that I don't have. Yeah, I'm feeling confident about them. It's probably one of the fittest I've ever been, so that's always a plus when you're going into box. But yeah, no, I'm feeling good about it. So hopefully it'll show in the ring.
But every one of us are very proud of her, of everything she's achieved and done so far, and hopefully we know she'll go further and do much more.
I can't wait for Deárbhla to be going and fighting, just to watch her and see how well she does, because I know she can win.
I'm over 45 years involved in boxing. My club is St Francis in Limerick. I've been away as manager with Katie Taylor and with Kelly Harrington. And at the moment I'm here in Clann Naofa, Jim O'Neill's club, where we have trained for years before we go away to competition. Kelly Harrington, Katie, they all trained up here with Jim, who is an exceptional coach and is admired by everybody in the Irish boxing scene. At the moment we're here because we're getting our youths ready to go to Bulgaria on Tuesday for the European Championships, and the facilities here in Clann Naofa are second to none. They have got everything that the boxers need, from 5 brilliant coaches to, as I said, facilities. You wouldn't get them anywhere in Ireland. But there's a very talented boxer here. Her name is Deárbhla Tinnelly, and she is exceptional. She's won silver and bronze when she's been away at Europeans. A pleasure to be with, never no problem with her, trains diligently. She's just a wonderful girl.
Deárbhla does tested for COVID there at the camp.
I didn't feel great from Sunday, so then on Wednesday I didn't feel well at all, so then I got another test and that came back positive, so got sent home. You know, I can't train with anybody else and by myself, so just sort of being out for runs here and skipping and shadow boxing at home, it's not the ideal way to prepare for the Europeans, but have to make do with the situation that I'm in, just have to keep focused, and I have to do a PCR test on Sunday, so hopefully that's negative. I'm able to go to Europeans. If that's positive, I don't know what's going to happen then.
Deárbhla's test is negative. Big hurdle tomorrow is PCR test. Just missed a bit of training, but hopefully we will try and make that up within the next number of days here, and hopefully she's on the plane. We went to Dublin yesterday for a PCR test. Deárbhla had positive symptoms. Around 6 o'clock she went for another one. She tested clear. Late evening we got a slat and we got her tested again and she tested negative.
I think at this point I'm nearly angry, Joe. I'm what is the problem with not letting me go? I have 2 negative PCRs, why can't I go?
David, go ahead. Thank you, Stephen. I shall see you tonight. All right, sir, no problem. Folks, hold on. Folks. Well, love, how are you?
You sound happy.
Well, we're on the plane. Good to go.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
All right, love.
Christ.
We have our tactics. We know what we're doing. So all I need you to do is refuel here, come back and rest.
Started on our final countdown, warming up for the final bout of the Europeans.
The medals and diplomas will be presented by
Deárbhla put the work in and she won unanimously and she is now #1 in Europe. What an achievement. You couldn't rate this, you know, you couldn't rate this. She came through everything regardless and she won the gold medal. Kids come up to you in later life and in their talk on Tinnelly. So remember, Tim, you took us in and stuff and all the rest of it and thing, and they're working now and they have kids of their own now and stuff and all the rest of it. You know, they've turned out and they've turned their lives around.
I'd see Jim as more than a coach, you know. It's not just my coach, he's like family to me, you know. I could go to Jim about anything. If I had a problem, I know I can go to Jim and talk to him about it.
Like the club would be my family, like it's a second family to me. Like you talk to everyone, you know everyone, you have the laugh, and then sometimes you'll have an argument, but like exactly like a family.
I look at my grandfather Jim as, you know, as a role model with not just for myself but within the estate. He's taken, you know, kids off the streets from a young age, and maybe that might have been down a different path, and took them in and trained them up to be, some of them to be, you know, elite level boxers. And I think a lot of people do admire and look up to Jim for what he has done, not just for kids within the community but the community itself.
Jim O'Neill, I don't know what this club or boxing would do without the likes of Jim O'Neill. We're all volunteers, we don't get paid, we do it for the love of our sport.
You know, like I trust Jim 100% with everything, and like he's believed in me in times that I didn't believe in myself.